Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Streaming Safari here at the Lion Habitat Ranch. As always, I want to start by thanking you guys if you've been able to donate to us, help us out on Amazon Smile, or just come out to visit us. All those are great ways to help us out. We are a nonprofit, so anything that you can do for us does go back to helping our amazing animals like Bentley here. Hey Ben. He's like, no, I know you're doing math today, so I'm not gonna look at you. Denise is also not wanting to look at me because we're doing a little bit of math. Not too much math, though. We are going to talk about some physics today. But just to finish my previous thought, all those links are right down below. And just to remind you, we are open Thursday through Monday from 11 to 3. So come out and see us. We're even open on the holidays. So if you want something extra special to do on your Christmas day, maybe between your breakfast and dinner, then you can come out and see us at the ranch.
And we're doing events.
And we're doing lots of cool Christmas events. There's going to be a scavenger hunt where you will learn about animals at the North Pole. And I think Denise has some other activities planned, like
story time in Aussie. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Photo opportunities, of course.
Of course. Maybe some other fun stuff. I don't know. You'll have to come see. And if you're still looking for a last-minute Christmas gift, well, it's not quite last minute yet, is it?
I don't think so.
Okay, good, because I haven't done any of my Christmas shopping. But if you're looking for a really cool gift for someone, Ozzy's artwork always makes a really cool gift. And I have a little secret for you guys. If you didn't know, you can go to the website and you can request some colors on whatever canvas you'd like, and Ozzy will paint that for you. So if you have somebody who has, their favorite colors, or you just want to ask them their favorite colors, they're not going to guess that they're going to get a painting from a giraffe. So it's a really good Christmas gift. All right, so today we're going to get into a little bit of physics, and I have a sheet of words. They're words, Denise. They're not numbers, okay? They say lots of weird words, though, that I think you're going to start shaking your head at me about. Okay, so we're going to talk today about conservation of angular momentum, which sounds kind of scary, but we're going to do two things that are pretty fun with it, and I might fall over on a chair, so get ready. So, angular momentum, basically, we're talking about spinning. So, angular momentum is made up of two different things. Rotational inertia and angular velocity. So, what does that mean? So rotational inertia is going to be basically your being able to move something around in a circle, right? What kind of power is that going to take? And it's related to how the mass of an object is distributed. So what we're going to actually try on the chair in a second is something that you might see ice skaters do, or you might have tried in an ice skating rink before, spinning and trying to spin really, really fast. If you have your mass distributed out with your arms out to the side, you'll move more slowly than you do if you have your body compressed in. So we'll see how that works in just a second, but that is what affects this rotational inertia, which is going to affect your angular momentum, and the angular momentum is going to try to stay conserved. So we know about conservation of energy, right? We've talked about that before. I think we mentioned it in the last video or 2 videos ago. But we're basically trying to, the energy is going to stay conserved until something is working on it. And so basically when you get these movements, the angular momentum similarly is going to stay conserved. So the angular velocity, similar to any other velocity, you're talking about displacement over time. And that's really talking about the difference between velocity and speed is that the velocity actually talks about going in a certain direction. So if you're talking about like going down our 15 freeway here going north, you would say that the velocity of your car is 65 miles per hour north. Whereas the speed of your car alone, even if it's just like in outer space, is 65 miles per hour. So it talks about the speed and direction. And then the angular part just means that we're talking about objects that are spinning, objects that are revolving. So to conserve that angular momentum, when we move the mass around, what happens is the rotational inertia is actually going to go down because of the way the mass is distributed. So if you bring the mass in closer, the rotational inertia goes down, which means the speed has to go up. So what we're going to look for in our experiments to simplify this is we're just looking for when our mass comes in, whatever mass that is, comes closer to the center point, does our speed actually increase? And we'll see that hopefully with our experiments that we'll do. Although, you know, this is streaming Safari, so crazy science happens here, crazy science things. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit in this swivelly chair. And this swivelly chair does have something referred to as torque on it. The chair itself has some resistance to it. So when I spin around in the chair, generally, I might not make it all the way around. I do have to push myself pretty hard, and it's pretty wobbly, so we might see fun things. Okay, so I'm going to hold these weights. These are just like 3-pound weights in my hand. You can see experiments of people doing this all over on the internet, and if you want to try it, it's pretty fun.
Be safe. Be careful.
Very safe, stable stool. This stool is ancient. Do not use an ancient stool. Okay, so I'm going to try to spin myself around. And I go around pretty slow, but the mass is actually helping me rotate a little bit more. If I bring the mass in closer to my body and I spin myself, I'll spin a little bit faster. And so what you can do if you have a really good swiveling chair, I'm going to see if it'll do this. Do it on this one. When I spin, I'm going to bring my arms in like an ice skater would. Very wintry for us. When I bring my arms in, I should start turning around faster. That might actually help me get around a little bit more. So when I change the position of the mass, when I have just the mass out to the sides,
please don't fall.
Make it all the way around. But if I start with it out and then I move the location of the mass, I spin around faster. Cool?
You didn't fall.
You want to try it, Denise?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, the other experiment that I wanted to show you guys is this really cool pulley that uses angular momentum, if I can do it properly. And you can make this really simple pulley system. It's what is, if you look this up online, it's referred to as a self-braking pulley. So basically, what's going to happen is, even though I have 2 different weights on each side, the lighter weight, yes.
Your math is boring, Bentley. He laid down.
Oh, goodness. My math is putting Bentley to sleep. So I have 2 different masses on each side. What I have actually here is a box of airheads or something, apple heads. I don't even know what those are. So it's a really lightweight box. You can use something like a matchbox, or one of the other things I tried was like a very small piece of PVC pipe. Just something that's really light, and then something that's a little bit heavier. So I have a bag of nuts and bolts. And then you're gonna need a pencil. And then some sort of string. I recommend a string that's a little bit tacky, so the string that I have here is not very tacky, so it doesn't really grip onto the pencil really well. This nice Ticonderoga pencil, I didn't know they still make those, is really slippery too. So if you have a tackier string, this will work a little bit better because you'll get more friction. So,
what would be a tackier string other than twine?
Tackier string other than twine, I would say something kind of plasticky maybe.
Could you use ribbon?
You could use a ribbon. It might still be too slippery because you're trying to get the friction. So you might even try something like yarn.
What about floss?
Floss? Yeah, floss actually would probably work pretty well. That's a good one. Yeah, try some floss. Okay, so what we're gonna do is the central point for this is actually gonna be the pencil itself. And what we're gonna see is if the heavy bag will actually hit the floor because it has enough room to hit the ground, or if somehow this little light thing will actually keep it from hitting the ground. So when I let it go, it actually spins around and it creates friction and it holds on to the bag. So even though this bag is heavier, you can try it with different weights. It can actually take quite a bit of weight. Put different weights in here and see how much you can hold up with your lighter object on the other side. So to do this, as I said, I've attached the string to both ends. I'm just holding it over the pencil, okay? I haven't wrapped it around the pencil or anything like that. It wraps itself around the pencil when I drop it. So when I let it go, it'll start swinging around. So sometimes because it's not as tacky, the friction doesn't build up. But essentially what's happening is the same thing with the angular momentum. As I let go of the light object, gravity pulls it downward. And then when it comes to the other side, the momentum makes it go back up. Now, what happens related to the conservation of angular momentum is that as the go out. As the small object moves around the pencil, it moves closer and closer and closer. And so what's going to happen as it moves closer to the center point, as the mass moves closer to the center?
Goes faster.
It goes faster. And then the friction between your string and the pencil will help to keep the weighted object off of the ground. Cool. So that is our angular momentum lesson for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please try these experiments at home. They're really, really fun.
He did that.
Bentley, I'm disappointed in your enjoyment of the physics. But I'm glad you stayed with us today. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you again next week.